Guys, in just over a week, we're getting the newest legendary lord coming to Watcher of Realms. It is this guy right behind me, Rivenhald. And he has a very unique and very powerful kit. In this video, I want to break it down for you as cleanly, concisely, succinctly as I can. And then in future videos, I will do some major showcases on this guy because he is going to be a beast. However, we need to test him out to figure exactly how good he is going to be. That being said, the baseline potential is tremendous. He is now going to be the best melee healer in the game, so this means he is the best healer that can be deployed on ground tiles on the floor. That is really strong for a lot of comps. And then on top of that, he is also one of the strongest inspiration units in the game, so he can buff ally attack in a pretty crazy and very unique way. He has some pretty good crowd control effects, and then he is a very good shielder. He has a very strong ability to put out shields, and that synergizes incredibly well with his passive and with his Lord skill. Also, guys, we are getting closer every single day to 50,000 subscribers. At the time of filming this, we're just over 400 subscribers away. So if you want to help out, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to help me out with future Rivenhald content and you want to make sure I cover the things you're most interested in, let me know in the comment section below what content you would like me to showcase him in. Thank you. Let's go.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
All right, folks, so let's get into it and let's talk about this guy. Before we get into base stats, there are two things I want to show you. First thing, pretty simple. He is the third legendary lord from the North Throne to enter the game. He is the second ancient exclusive legendary lord from the North Throne as well, joining Elder, and he is going to be way better, way more relevant, way more useful than Elder right out of the gate. Elder will return to complete irrelevance once Rivenhald gets here. Yes, he is different than Elder, but he fits into the same kind of teams as Elder, and he's so much better. So it's a bit of a night and day kind of thing. The other thing I want to show you is that in many ways, he is attack-based. So you don't really care about his DPS or anything. However, as a healer, as you can see over here, all of his heals are attack-based, and that is really good. His healing is very, very strong. On top of that, he is an inspiration hero, so this makes attack very relevant to him, because the way he buffs the attack of his allies is that he proportionally raises their attack, scaling off of his attack. So you're going to want to build him with a ton of attack. And that is going to be very important as we head into base stats. The final thing to mention before we do, he is a tactician. He is now the first lord of any rarity in this game to be a tactician, and he is a really cool first one to have. So let's look at those base stats now. You can see his HP comes in at 19,185. This is pretty good. He has a nice damage mitigation mechanic in his kit when it comes to the damage he receives, so you don't need him as tanky as you would someone with the same kind of kit without that damage mitigation. That kind of unique way he reduces his incoming damage. That being said, I do think a little is left to be desired with that HP stat. However, the attack stat is really good. He joins Diao Chan as one of the 2 units in the game to have permanent uptime on Inspiration. When he ults, his Inspiration effect gets a lot stronger, but even when he's not ulting, he is always providing an Inspiration effect. And because he has a pretty high base attack for an inspiration hero, not in general. In general, it's not very high. But for an inspiration hero, this is definitely on the higher side. Out of the main inspiration options in this game that have your standard inspiration with very high uptime and very large amounts of inspiration to a large amounts of allies, I am talking Diao Chan, Beelzebub, Dolores, and Constance. His base attack is higher than all of those guys. Obviously, the percentages are going to matter, but you will see when he is ulting, it is extremely high, and the fact that he's even doing a smaller inspiration all the time as a baseline outside of his ult, that is very good. The defense and magic res are pretty solid. His cost is 18. This is going to make him a little harder to use in like Arena, so I don't think he's going to be replacing Diao Chan there. But I will say, with the rest of his kit, all the healing he's able to do, all of the shields, the unique part of his Lord skill, the unique part of his passive that you're going to see, the way that Lord skill and passive tie into his ability to shield. I think in certain content, he will be chosen over Diao Chan now, and that really is saying something. He has one block. That's a little bleh, but you don't really ever want him blocking anyone, so it doesn't matter. If we actually go to the gearing now, you can see what his full base stats are without any adjustment. His base attack interval is 3.0 seconds, so as a healer, this is pretty good, but his direct comparison as a healer is going to be Aylin. You'll learn that in just a moment. And actually, she really beats him out there. She comes in at 2.0 seconds, so she will stay better than him when it comes to AoE healing. But basically, after Aylin, he is a top-tier healer. He's the only other pure AoE healer besides Aylin in this game now. Everything else is pretty dang standard. Rage Regen auto, Rage Regen off of his basic attack, Rage Regen when he's attacked. It's all pretty good stuff. So let's get into these skills now, kicking it off with the talent. There are a lot of parts to this, so let's go one by one. Allied heroes in basic attack range gain 15% inspiration. So that is the baseline inspiration he is able to give. It does get higher though, both when he ults and that baseline itself can get higher if you get his bond skill. Before we continue, I do want to show you his basic attack range. It is very strong. As a base range, without any awakenings, nothing, you just need to build him out, he gets the Aylin range, or the A1 Diao Chan range. This is very important. This makes him really good at a lot of things right out of the box. If we continue on, his basic attack applies max HP increase to allied heroes with shields in range, and this can stack to higher levels. So the way they write it is kind of weird, but what you need to know is for every allied hero in range, when they are shielded, every time he does his basic attacks, his attack-based healing, he is going to put an HP increase buff on them of 5%, and this can stack 6 times up to 30%. So as long as they're staying shielded, which he is going to help with, and you can bring other Northerners to help with that as well, shout out to Gwendolyn. She's going to be a really good synergy with Rivenhald. You can make a lot of your units a lot tankier because you can have very high uptime on increasing all of their max HP by 30%. Finally, a condition on the max HP increase buff. It will be removed if the shield is gone and the HP of the ally is not full. Otherwise, you can keep this up for a very long time. It is very strong. Let's go to the Lord skill now, and then let's go to the normal skills. Kicking off with the Lord skill, Northern Resolve 3. The first part is true of every Lord in this game. It's just a basic attribute increase. For legendaries, it's 15%. For epics, it's 10%. For rare Lords, it is 5%. He's obviously a legendary Lord, so it's going to be a 15% increase to the basic attributes of all the North Throne faction team members. The next part, some version of this is true for every Northerner Lord in the game, regardless of rarity. Periodically, he will grant all faction team members a shield equal to 30% of their max HP. The next part is the unique thing that comes with the legendary Northerner Lords. If it's a legendary Northerner Lord like Rivenhald is, he will also grant a shield to non-Northerner Lords, so allies from other factions, and that will be equal to 15 of their max HP. So the 30% shield for faction allies and the 15% shield for non-faction allies, those happen periodically and it will last 20 seconds. The more faction team members there are on the team, the more frequently this will take effect. Pretty good stuff. And then finally, we have the entirely unique part of the Lord skill just to Rivenhald. Faction team members gain 1 stack of Northern Resolve for every adjacent allied hero that gains a shield, lasting for 10 seconds and stacking up to 5 times. So Northern Resolve is a very unique thing. We've never seen it before. What this does is the following. When dealing damage, a unit under this buff or mark is going to deal extra damage equal to 2% of the hero's max HP. So they're going to deal some extra damage that is scaling off of their HP, and you can see this can stack up to 5 times. So basically the way this works is every time any adjacent allied heroes, regardless of faction, receive a shield, as long as they're adjacent to a Northerner unit, that Northerner unit is going to get 1 stack of Northern Resolve. So if you have a bunch of Northerners clumped up together, or you have a bunch of Northerners surrounding other allies, and you're putting up shields a lot, you are going to stack a lot of Northern Resolve, and it's a nice amount of extra damage. All right, sorry that took me a long time to explain. It's a little confusing. Let's get to the normal part of the kit now, kicking it off with the basic attack. He has a pure AoE heal, healing all allied heroes in range on his basic. This is attack-based healing. This is very strong. He has high attack, higher than Aelin. Unfortunately, he has a slightly higher base attack interval, which means he's going to be a little slower. He does speed up when he ults, but so does Aelin. He doesn't speed up as much as her. All in all, he will be second best to her when it comes to AoE healing. It's still really, really, really good. And the fact that he is a melee, he's going to be able to reach people maybe she couldn't in certain content. And the fact that you can move him around is so clutch. Keep in mind, everyone in that range as a baseline is going to get 15% inspiration. Let's go to the ultimate now, Winter's Grasp. So when it's skilled up, this is going to last 20 seconds. It has 600 initial cost, and it costs 800. Upon activation, he can choose to move to any deployable tile within 3 tiles. You don't have to move him, but if you want, he does have that displacement effect. He's able to move. It's the key thing of the tacticians. After successful activation, he's going to deal 200% AoE damage one time. The damage does not matter at all. His damage is completely insignificant. The way you are going to build him, the damage will be nothing. The reason this is significant is because it's an AoE hit that is going to hit up to 5 enemy targets, anyone in that basic attack range, and when he does hit them, he's putting out a pretty solid freeze. A 2-second freeze that can synergize with other units in the North Throne that benefit from freezes being out there. It's not the best crowd control, but it's a fairly cheap ult. It will be some crowd control that you can kind of rely on. The most important part, though, while the skill is active, inspiration applied by the talent increases to 35%. So the inspiration effect he's applying more than doubles. It goes from 15%, that baseline, to 35%. Also very important, his attack interval will be reduced by 25%. So for the duration, after you activate this for 20 seconds, his heals are going to be a lot faster. That actual attack interval, the amount of time it takes between each big AoE heal, will be reduced by 25%. So that is very good. I have mentioned a couple times that the baseline can improve. So before we go to these 2 normal passives over here, I want to talk about the bond skill and the passive ability he gets once you obtain Ireless. So if you get Ireless, you unlock the following bonus effects. And the first one is the most important. So this is actually only during the ultimate, so that the baseline's never actually raised. It's just during the ultimate it gets better. But if you have Ireless, during the ultimate, the inspiration effect is increased by 5%. So instead of jumping from 15% to 35% for 20 seconds after he ults, it's going to jump from 15% to 40%. That means the contribution he's giving from his inspiration effect is now almost triple what that baseline is. That is very good. The next part is also really important. Every time he successfully heals any allies, he will apply increased healing received. And the healing they receive for the next 5 seconds, and he can keep reapplying this and increasing the uptime, all their healing received will be increased by 20%. And that's not just healing received that he is doing. Any heals any allies with this buff receive will be increased by 20%. Let's go to the first normal passive now, Frozen Crown. When the ultimate is triggered, grants all allied heroes in range a shield equal to 100% of the caster's attack for 20 seconds. So this is one of the weird things that Watcher of Realms and Moonton do. This is just part of the ultimate, but I guess they didn't want the ultimate to be too long, so they wrote it as a passive. But just think of this as an extra effect from the ultimate. So when he ults, he does all this stuff, and also he puts out a shield equal to 100% of his attack to all allies in his range, and that is that very good range. This is a very good shield. It is very good uptime on the shield, and it is very consistent. Keep in mind, when those allies are shielded, they're going to get the max HP increase. You can stack that up, and as long as the shields don't go away and the HP doesn't drop below full, you will be good to go. It's also worth mentioning, when he does this, all the faction team members in that range that are adjacent to other allies receiving the shield, whether those allies are from their faction or not, they don't just have to be Northerners, they're all going to get their stacks of Northern Resolve. And that's really good. So extra damage as well. His ult is very good. If we go to the final passive now, Brothers in Arms, for every one allied hero in basic attack range, he's going to reduce the incoming damage he takes by 5%. This stacks up to 5 times. So for every ally in his range, up to 5 allies, all the damage he receives is reduced by 5%. So any good comp, any good setup outside of maybe interesting situations and things like Malric, maybe certain parts of campaign, he'll always have 5 allies in range. So basically, he always has a 25% damage reduction on everything coming in. So there you have it. Those are the skills. That's the talent. That's the Lord skill. That's the Bond skill. A lot of crazy stuff in here. I think this video is running a little long, so let's get straight into the awakenings. It will only take a second, and then we'll give our final thoughts. The A1 here, this is going to increase the shield multiplier from that Frozen Crown passive by 60%. So the shields he gives when he ults now, which lasts 20 seconds, they are no longer 100% of his attack. They're going to be 160% of his attack. That can be pretty key. I haven't shown it yet, but I've got him here in a pretty decked out endgame build that would be really relevant to him, leaning into a little bit of tankiness and then a ton of attack, some good attack speed, and a little bit of heal effect. If we look, you will see I've got his attack up to 19,000 at A0. So you can imagine 100% of his attack is a shield of 19,000. And then if it was 160%, oh my God, quick maths, it's going to be something like a shield of 30,000. Just about that. So really, really strong stuff. And remember, that's the value you're scaling the inspiration off of as well. Very, very good. Very strong. The A2 is going to be pretty important for him. Not game-changing, but pretty nice. His base attack increases, which is always relevant for any inspiration hero. And then a pretty cool thing, he gets this added to his Lord skill. He will increase faction team members' shields that they receive by 10%. So the values of the shields that are lent to any Northerners will be increased by 10%. This is not just shields he puts out, it's shields anyone puts out. So it's good. I don't think any of this is game breaking, but it's pretty nice. If we go to the A3 now, for every one allied hero in attack range, he's going to increase his rage regen by 15%. This stacks 5 times up to 75%. Like I said, in the vast majority of content, he'll always have at least 5 allies in range, which basically means when you've got him A3, he has a built-in increase of rage regen by 75%. So it's an additional 75% rage regen as a baseline. That's pretty good. The A4 plus 1200 HP, a little more tankiness is nice. And finally, the A5, when the shield granted by Frozen Crown is broken, the shield bearer gains attack-based healing of 50% healing multiplier that restores HP per second for 10 seconds. So it's basically, over the next 10 seconds, 500% worth of healing. That's really good, right? 50% healing multiplier per second over 10 seconds, 50 times 10. Really nice stuff. You don't need any of these awakenings, at least in any normal gameplay. I would say they're all nice to haves, but that's pretty cool for a normal player, right? He is going to be pretty dang great right at A0. So here we go. That's going to be Rivenhald. How good can he be? Undeniably, he's going to be instantly relevant in a lot of content. If you guys have suggestions for where you want to see him, please let me know in the comment section below. How high is his potential? You know, it really depends. I think as a hero, he's already pretty great. Is he fantastic? Is he OP? That's going to depend on how relevant the Northerners become. Part of the reason someone like Ingrid is so good, on top of how good the kit actually is that she's in 2 incredibly relevant factions. Right now, Northerners still are not that relevant. They're clearly trying to make them more relevant, and he's a big part of that. If he can do that, then yeah, he could be like Ezerith with the cultists. But we don't really know until we see it. So let me know where you want to see him tested. I've been Fastidious. Thank you so much for watching. A huge thank you to R-Type for editing this video. I had more trouble filming this video than I've had filming any video for months. So pour one out for R-Type. This was a brutal edit, I am sure. Thank you guys. Share it with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.